Hello and welcome to a video showcasing some custom cards I have made for the Exploding Kittens card game. This is a game I absolutely love and adore, and having every expansion and every version of the game, besides a few odd cards that I sadly just can't get a hold of due to them not being available in the UK, I have gone ahead and made some custom cards to hopefully see as real cards one day for official releases. So this is not endorsed by the Exploding Kittens team in any way, shape or form. This is just me being a bit excited for this game, and these are cards that are basically made by myself. The ideas are my own ideas. The drawings are also all hand done by myself and are my own drawings. And these are just things that I made a long while ago as well. I've had these for a good year, maybe 2 years. I don't know how long Exploding Kittens has been out for. But yes, this is just my way of showing some more creativity for a game I very much love and adore. This expansion is called Shattering Kittens, because this, of course, like with the other two expansions, takes the name of the Exploding Kitten variant, the Shattering Kitten. And this card reads as follows. You show this immediately. It can be diffused as normal, or you show your hand to one other player. That player may pick a card from your hand to discard in place of using a diffuse. After which method of either diffusing method is used, you place the Shattering Kitten back into the draw pile. So this is a dangerous variant of the Exploding Kitten, because if you can't diffuse this yourself, you're going to be showing your hand to one other player. Even then, that player could say, no, you're out, that's it, you can't defuse it yourself, I don't want you to win, so goodbye. So that's another instance of potentially kind of screwing yourself over. But if you were to go down that path, who would you choose? Do you pick the person who is silently plotting against you but you don't know it? Or do you go against someone who is loudly against you but hasn't been quite as successful as they would hope? It's something that kind of makes more decisions, and it's not overwhelming in any sense, but this can definitely get exciting. Lucky Loot. This reads as follows. You play this card when an opponent is eliminated. You can take one card of your choice from the eliminated player's discarded hand. One thing that was really frustrating for me, and kind of still is frustrating, is when a player is eliminated and all of their cards are no longer accessible. They all go straight into the discard pile. You can't, do anything about it, which is a shame, because there's totally a way of using a card or some kind of mechanic to allow you to go through the discarded player's hand. So to keep things fair, this is a card that allows you to just pick one card from their hand. Who knows, they might have a Bargain Kitten, they might have had the Tower of Power but never went ahead to go use it. They could have something strong in their hand, maybe even a Nope, who knows? Something could be there that you would want, and it's still probably worth still taking something anyways. So yeah, being able to kind of take advantage of an eliminated player's discarded hand, I think is something that should have been at least in the first expansion. I mean, come on. Cheater. This reads as follows. Playing this card ends your turn, and you draw the top card of the discard pile instead of the draw pile. So this is the first concept I had for a custom card ever since I started making these. And this is something we tried to work into a house rule but never really worked, but now in the form of a custom card, it can work. Now, of course, you play this, you then take the top card of the discard pile, and then you put this on top. You're not basically cycling cheater card over and over. That's not how it's supposed to work. I could definitely see this sort of happening in like Hearthstone, for example, where the mechanics probably don't work and it kind of just recycles cheater over and over. But yes, this is definitely a way of getting around drawing an unwanted card from the draw pile. This is also one of those cards where it would only have 1 or 2 in the deck instead of 4, 5, maybe 6 compared to some of the weaker cards. But yeah, this must exist at some point. This is so stupid, but it's so much fun. Counterfeit. It reads as follows. Choose another player, and they must discard a card from their hand. So, first of all, counterfeit, just so that's out there, okay? So back to the card itself. It is a very saucy card. Again, the sort of thing where you only have 1 or 2 copies in the entire deck. And this is the sort of thing where it would work at its best late in the game, where there's only like 7, 8 cards left in the draw pile. There's a few Exploding Kittens in there. The Imploding is face up. You're kind of out of options. And then you play this to make sure that your opponent is on a more level playing field. Now, when you play this, you don't get to pick what's getting discarded. The person that you're playing this to gets to choose what they're going to be getting rid of. And of course, this is all to kind of narrow it down just a little bit further. They might have something completely useless and just get rid of that, and that has appeared a lot when it comes to the games that I've had when it comes to playing Exploding Kittens. But this is the sort of thing where it kind of, again, if anything, just levels the playing field at the absolute end of the game. So for this next card, it is worth making it known that this was made before the expansion that featured the card Berry came out, which I think was the third expansion? I can't remember off the top of my head, which is not the best thing ever. But this is something that I had the idea for, just again, by myself. There are probably other players out there who thought something similar for this. But when Berry came out, this card was basically pointless. But I still think it's worth adding it to this video to kind of explain that there is potential for these cards to come into fruition and be officially introduced into the game. So I called this Special Cat. When you draw a card you don't like, discard it and draw the next card. So that is literally just what Berry is. You play that in preparation for what you're going to draw next. If it's, say, an Exploding Kitten, you don't like it, you can discard it and then move on. The overall mechanic for me saying to discard it is a bit incorrect, where Berry kind of reshuffles that card back into the draw pile, and that is definitely better on, because if you do draw, say, the last Exploding Kitten, who's going to lose? Who's going to win? But yes, I think it's still amazing that such ideas do kind of, not so much bounce around, but more of a great minds think alike in a bit of a selfish way, where something like this is possible. Cat in the Bin. This was definitely a fun card to draw, and it reads as follows. Choose a card in an opponent's hand. They place it face down and cannot use it until their next turn. So you're basically disabling a card from their hand, but you don't really know what it is until either they reveal it themselves or they kind of accidentally make it known somehow. So this is a good way of potentially narrowing down your opponent's hand even further. There's definitely a case where I stock up on all the pair cats, think the beard cat, the rainbow ralphing cat, that sort of thing. And I'll particularly blind them as well. This could be an opportunity to permanently keep one card face down, instead of going full Curse of the Cat Butt. So yeah, I do like the idea of kind of meddling with your opponent's hand a bit more. It's a bit fun to kind of mess with other players, not just with the draw pile, but with their actual hand as well. And this can get annoying, and I didn't really kind of have any ideas of limiting how many you can do this to per player. But even then, stacking 4 against 1 player, that's gonna be funny. It's safe to say that this card rivals the Reaper Kitten as the most controversial card idea I have come up with my custom expansions. This is the Diffuse Dog. Yeah, you know, a dog in an Exploding Kittens themed game, you know, who'd have thunk it. So this reads as follows. This card works like a normal diffuse. When this is used to diffuse an Exploding Kitten, give the Exploding Kitten to another player to deal with instead of putting it back into the draw pile. So this is a card I think we ultimately passed on because it caused too much frustration. And again, that is the idea of this card. It's supposed to make things difficult for not just for yourself, but it's time for someone else to kind of suffer, so to say. And whilst there is some chaos to be had when it comes to the Exploding Kittens game, there are limits, and I did understand why this card was ultimately chucked to the side in favour of all the other ones, basically. And yeah, again, it can work. It does need some refining. The mechanism I have behind this card is, again, not refined. That's the word I should definitely stick to, because the idea is there, but it's not perfected. Super Nope. This reads as follows. Play this at any time to stop another player's actions. This card can't be noped. So you can nope a nope, but you can't nope a super nope. I think a version of this was online somewhere else. I think that's what inspired this one. I can't fully remember. But like I said with the super attack card, this is something that I absolutely love. You know, super versions of cards, that's really cool because it makes them more powerful, more desirable. Noping a card is already very fun, and it's one of the most powerful things you can do in Exploding Kittens, especially when you time it right. Super Nope, that's where you kind of, you put your foot down, you kind of slam your fist on the table. It's like, no, get on with it. And this definitely caused a few problems, but still, so much fun. So those are all of the cards I have made for this expansion for Exploding Kittens. What do you think of these cards? What were your favourites? If you have any card ideas, how would you make them? I, for one, can only hope that these card ideas can eventually make it to the official game. Once again, I am not sponsored or endorsed by Exploding Kittens in any way, shape or form. I'm just a fan of this game, making some custom cards to carry on my playing experience. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to keep an eye out on the community tab for polls and updates. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye bye.